Okay, now that we are done with the nav bar, let's take a look at the finished websites. What we want to do next here. Now, if we scroll down, we have these two little sections here with location and hours, and a little bit of animation as you're scrolling down. That's on scroll. Starts up, does that. A little bit of red down here. Okay, well, this here is a grid, two-column grid with just a couple simple divs actually. So that's pretty easy. And on this, we're going to be using React scroll animation, React animate on scroll, and we're going to be using the Animate Css library to accomplish that, which is, I think, a little much easier and more readable than GSAP. This could easily be done in GSAP, but I figured we're using GSAP on some things during this and Animate on scroll for some other things, or scroll animation, just to give you a couple ideas of the different libraries out there that can help you accomplish your animations. So let's go back over to our project, and inside our homepage we want to create another file, and we'll call this Home Heroes. Home Hours, actually. Home Heroes. And that's .js. Into that, you can do your RFCE, tab that over, Home Hours, we got that. We know we're going to want to style this, so we might as well get styled from, well, style components, tab that over. Okay, give us a little space because we're going to add a couple more things up there. Okay, well, we know we're going to style this, so right away we know what we're going to do here. We've been doing it all along. We'll go wrap, of course, 7 in the morning. Okay, down here we might as well get our const going. We'll go const wrap. That's going to equal, styled div backticks. And then there, split them, and you're ready. Okay, so we got this set up. Okay, well, go back and take a look at it real quick. This is going to be a grid. Looks like, well, we'll have an H1, a div with an H1, and another div maybe with some paragraphs. Okay, so this is pretty simple. I already have it done. You don't have to listen to me here. All right, well, let's start with a grid. So we're gonna make a div, call that grid. We'll split that, and then we'll do about box. Let's camel case that. Tab that over. We'll split that, and here we'll do a we'll do an H1. We don't want to split that. Let's go to the end. Hit end. It'll go to the end, and you can hit enter. And we'll do well, first one's location. Grab that, split that. Here we got some paragraphs. I believe this one has 5 without looking. If it's not, whatever, we get rid of one. Just if you hold Shift Alt and your down arrow, it'll just copy those over for you. Okay, so we got, okay, what do we got here? So we got locale, we got the information. I guess we could, if you highlight it, same thing, Shift Alt down, we'll copy it. We don't care if that's an about. Let's call this hours though. We don't want to call that location because it's the hours side. And without looking, I think there's 4, but we'll just double check that. And I think we got it scaffolded out. So we got a grid with a div that contains an H1, another div for the information. Okay, yeah, that looks about right. Let's go double check and make sure I got the numbers right. 1, 2, 8, so it's 4 and 5 on the other side. So of course I'm always wrong. So we'll get rid of that. And we'll add one here. And I just looked at it. This is going to be a span, so we might as well put that in there. Okay, now we got to scaffold it out. So we got a grid, we got a box. Okay, well, we know that on this one we wrote locale. Fill that in. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna, instead of you watching me fill these out, I'll just copy them, and because you could put whatever you want here. I'll just put hours for the heck of it. Okay, so what really matters here are our styles and what we're doing here. So you know what? Let me just do it this way, and we'll just walk through it. I'm just gonna copy it, put it in. You guys can. All right, let's go from the back tick up through. Just copy and paste this in. All right. Let's see what's going on. What really matters here is the scroll animation, so none of this really matters. But what are we doing here? We are making it 100% height auto, top, bring it down a little bit from the section above it. That makes sense. We're putting it in a grid. Hopefully you guys know what a grid is. 2 columns with a grid gap between them. A grid means we're turning that section into 2 columns, and they'll display in the order that they're in. So the first one will drop to the left, the second one to the right. If you had 4, the next one would come underneath that over here. But neither here nor there. The about box, all right, little padding, background color, text align, yep, white. You have to put white here. I know most people, you're going to say it's going to be white anyway, but it's not, because when you're using Animate CSS, don't forget it is a CSS library, and it has its own properties and styles that are set depending on the class names. And when I did this, well, I'll explain it in a minute. Either way, make sure you get the white in there, otherwise it's going to come up black. That should make sense to you. Margin, line height, all of that. Span, we're going to make that red just so we can see it. Bolded, okay. Here is probably the most important one of them. Well, no, I'm sorry, it's not. That stays the same. This media query here, okay, here at anything under 991 and under, we're going to turn it back into 1 column so that they stack on top of each other. Hopefully that makes sense. And so that's it as far as styles. Hopefully, I don't know, I guess you could pause it and copy them. So, and you know what I'll do right now? Heck with this. Let's just put this shit in here. While you're doing it, I might as well drop mine in here. We'll just go paste that in. And oh, there we go. Okay, get rid of that, and I might as well copy these and put those in. All right. So, and again, you can put whatever you want here. I mean, it's your world, man. You know, bar that's around the corner. You know, fill it out the way you want. Okay. So now, what do we want to do here? We need to go over. There is something called React Animate on Scroll. It's a library. You can obviously install it as a dependency through npm. And here we go. Copy this. That's how we're going to install it. Get it into our project. Copy it. Come over here. Let's bring it up. Shut our terminal down. Yes, and that. Okay. And you just want to paste it here. You can do Command V. That'll paste it. Hit Enter. I'm not going to do it. I already have it. When that is done, it will show up in your package JSON right here. The version is the same as this one. And now let's see what else it says here. So let that run through. Come back over here. It also says if you want to use Animate CSS, which we are, instead of making our own style rules for it to follow, you can do that if you want. It'll do what you want. We need to npm install save animate.css. Now don't just copy that and put it in, because there's a new version. When I made this, there was a different version, and some of the class names they use have changed and they clashed. So what you want to do is come back over here. Let me get rid of this. You want to paste that. Well, of course not that. I'll just type it out. Install animate, and we want to put a specific version. It's .css. Okay. Now, when you want a specific version, you just do @ and you end up you just have to put the version after it. And in this case, you want 3.7.2. And of course, I'm not on there. 3.7.2, and that'll give you the version you need. Press enter on that. Okay, and the only other thing we need to know is to use the animate, you need to import it somewhere in your project. It actually can be anywhere in your project. We'll just put it in this. It says the entire thing, but all you really need to do is import it here. So when we go to use it, we're going to put that in like we import anything else, like we import style component, or we import a component. So make sure you installed animate.css version 3.7.2, and we're all set. Now let's go over and take a look at exactly what Animate CSS is. If you go up to animate.style, you'll come to Animate CSS. It shows you all their different things: Flash, Pulse, Rubber Band, go on and on. It's just endless. You can come check it out. You can use any of these things you want: fade in right, fade in left, right, fade in big. Yeah, you get the picture. Okay, so now if we go back over to our thing here, I don't need this. Let's restart our dev server. So that's just Gatsby develop. Let that fire up and get rid of this so we see what we're doing here. All right, so we go back over to home hours. Well, what are we going to do? Well, first thing, we are going to import scroll animation. And that's from, it'll tell you once you start doing it, from React Animate on Scroll. Now we have that. We might as well import our CSS, right? Import. Sorry about that. You got to put it in this. Animate.css. Okay, so now we have everything we need to make this work. Now, to use scroll animation, if we go back and take a look here, what we're doing is we're wrapping whatever it is we want to animate in a scroll animation tag. And then we have different fields. Animate in, different attributes, fade in, or whatever it is you want from this list here. I know what I'm going to use. You can use whatever you want. And there's other things. Offset. This is the viewport is the default is 150 pixels from top or bottom. Once it's within that area of the viewport, the animation will start. I'm going to use 400 pixels. I don't want it to start, as soon as it enters. I want it to be up a little bit. But you have animate in, animate out. You can also animate things to go out. Duration, delay, animate once. I don't have animate once on mine. You might want to put it on yours. I keep it off mine, so if I go up and down, the animation starts without me reloading the page. Just, so you can see it. So I don't have to reload the page every time I'm trying to show you something. So, but you might want to definitely throw that in. Animate once equals true. Okay. So now we head back over here. So we have our scroll animation. Well, what's the first thing we want to do? Well, I have it here. I might as well, instead of writing it, I'll copy it and we'll talk about it. I don't want to wrap the whole div because I have the locale and the hours come in from left and right respectively, and the information, the class names, location, and hours come up from the bottom. So what would we do? Well, we're going to wrap locale in our scroll animation. Let's do it this way. Okay, let me put this back so it makes sense. Okay, so what this is saying is the animation is going to be locale. This H1 is going to be wrapped in scroll animation. We're going to animate in. It's going to slide in left 1.5 seconds when it's with 400 pixels into the viewport, and pre-scroll is false. You want to put this because if you don't put this as false, if it's off screen, as soon as the page loads, like the overlay was going straight up, the animation is going to start. So by the time you scroll down to it, it's already happened. So you want to put this false in here and animate pre-scroll false, and that will stop that from happening. Now we know we can just copy this because we know ours is going to be the same thing, correct? Hopefully, but it's going to be slide in from the right. So we can just do that. And make sure that we close that. Just tab it over, and that'll close it up for you. Pop that back. Okay, so right now we should have our animations happening on our H1s, and then we can go on and do the rest. So let's take a look, see if that's true. Refresh this. We shut this off here. Oh, well, of course that's not going to happen yet because you know what? Got to put it in our page, huh? Of course we do. Index, of course. So let's import it and see what we're working with here. Import. We got home hours, and that's from. Oh, you got to go out. Got to go into components. We got to go into our home page, and we got to get our home hours, and then, and of course, where am I putting it? Wrong spot. Don't listen to me. I'm losing it. All right, and then here we want to use it, right? Import it, use. Home hours, okay. Now we should have what we're looking for, and there they come. So now we just want to do the exact same thing, or you can do it. You don't need my help. But let me give you a couple guesses without you looking. If we're using here, when we wrap, let me get over here. If our animate in is slide in left, and now we want this to slide in up, I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out if you just copy that and wrap this div in the scroll animation and change that to what you want, or anything you want. If you find something you like better than sliding up, you could put fade in, fade. So just wrap this div now and a scroll animation with slide in up. And again, don't forget to camel case each letter after slide. Slide's gonna not be capitalized, but in, up. And you can do the same with this div. And that is done. The only other thing I think we need to make sure is that we have red on that, and I believe we do already. Yes, we do. So pause this, go ahead, check it out. Well, you know what the hell with it, I'll just do it right now. I'll do it with you. Why not? Just copy that. Let me just close this. Might as well copy this again. We're gonna copy it. Command C. Let's get ours. Paste that. Come down here. Make sure we get our closing tag. Tab that over, and now we want to go slide in up, right? Or whatever you want. Your world, man. It's your world. Up. Okay. Now there are a lot of other things. Like I say, you have animate once. You might want to put that in. Animate once equals true. That way you're not getting this action. Of course, fails to compile. What do we got? Oh yeah, this would help too. Oh, get out of there. All right. Well, again, I animate once will stop this from happening. Every time you do it. So even when you're scrolling back up, it'll happen. Every time it comes in a viewport, it's going to do it. So you can just solve that by putting in animate once. Once equals true. You get it? Okay, you put that on all of those, and that way the animation will only fire once. And that is it for this section. Let's go double check it. It looks the way we wrote it up. And now we're moving. So in the next one, now we're going to work on this happy hour. And again, this is a little bit different because this is GSAP and Animate CSS. So we have that. When we hit it, we're going to, let me redo that. So when we hit this, those come in. So this is going to be GSAP. We're going to have that happy hour. So then we will have almost the whole homepage done. And this stuff will start moving pretty quick. And then this video, you're going to love this. I'm going to show you how a video starts instantly using Wistia, which is fantastic. And it's free for your clients, unless they have a monstrous, especially like a small local business. So they give you so many gigabytes of data before you pay. And even after, well, if they become successful, and a lot of people are visiting their website, well, then they'd have to pay, but I'm sure they'll be happy and thank you for it. But most people just having that on there. And I have it set up where it just keeps playing over and over and over again, but you can get it where it just plays once, so you're not killing data. All right, and I will close, show me, that goes up. All right, so that'll be the next section. Hopefully a little something for today. Maybe I can get back to that later today. If not, guys, thanks. Like and subscribe. Any questions, let me know. Take it easy, motherfuckers.